Hey guys, how's it going? So Pokemon just printed around 10 billion more cards in a single year. 10 billion, and somehow everything is still sold out. That makes absolutely no sense, right? Because the easy answer in Pokemon right now is just they basically need to print more cards, right? And I get why people say that. So if shelves are empty, if drops are just selling out instantly, and if people are still fighting boss and scalpers, then the simple answer is just print more product. But here's the weird part. So Pokemon is printing more and it is still not enough. So by the end of this video, I just want to figure out why printing more cards has not fixed anything at all and what that actually means for you the next time that you are staring at a sold out drop. So there are stories going around right now that basically show the Pokemon TCG production has now passed 85 billion cards worldwide as of March 2026. And get this, so that 1 year of cards is about 11.7% of every Pokemon card ever made in 1 year. So this is not one of those situations where Pokemon is just sitting there doing nothing. They are just basically printing at a massive scale. And yet somehow it still does not feel like enough. So just real quick, if you guys are into this kind of Pokemon market breakdown, go ahead and hit subscribe because that is the whole vibe of this channel, right? So collector news and actually making sense of stuff like this together. Okay, so let's get back to it. And that basically brings me back to the Sam's Club Prismatic Evolutions drop, because that drop was basically supposed to be one of those moments where regular collectors actually had a real shot at getting something for retail prices, right? Now, the reports had it at around $70. There was a membership required, and of course it had a limit of 2. That sounds pretty fair on paper, but when the drop actually happened, the site was just a complete mess, right? I had a ton of issues, other people were having issues as well, and people were even posting that they seemed to be having more success on the app than on the desktop and vice versa. So it was just a big mess and with a lot of issues on the site overall. Now me, that day I just got nothing, right? I was not trying to buy a wall of them, I just wanted one for my collection. I was not trying to become the Prismatic Evolutions warehouse, right? I just wanted one for the collection, but I still got nothing. So when people say, well, Pokemon printed 10 billion more cards, that is actually true. But as a collector, that just doesn't help that much, because if the product still disappears before you can even check out, then that's a big problem, right? And this is where I think the hobby actually gets confusing, because there are two things that can be true at the same time. So Pokemon can be printing more cards than ever, and also collectors can still feel like they cannot even get any product at retail. That sounds backwards, but it does make sense when you think about the scale and the demand, right? Pokemon is not just a card game anymore. It's not just for kids anymore, right? It is for collectors, players, sealed collectors, breakers, shops, investors, even scalpers, kids, parents, and returning adults. Also, people who only show up when a product starts moving online, right? Everybody is pulling from the same pool, so even if the pool gets bigger, the crowd around it can grow even faster. And in just a minute, I am going to show you guys exactly how this played out with Chaos Rising this week, because the chase card prices moved hard in only 2 days, and it changes how you should think about chasing singles. So stick around for that, guys. Now, Chaos Rising is a really good example of why you have to separate sealed product from singles, because sealed product can still feel hard to get, but singles can start cooling off once enough packs get opened, right? Mega Greninja EX is the big card from Chaos Rising. That is the card that a lot of people are chasing right now. So let me actually pull up the chart here on TCG Player, because this is actually where it gets interesting, right? So this is the Mega Greninja EX Special Illustration Rare 116. And this is the biggest chase card right now that everybody wants. So just look at that line, right? Right at release, you can see that this thing is spiking up to around $580, almost $600. But now you watch what happens. So as more packs get opened, the market price comes down a little bit, right? Just at around $470 to $505. So in just a few days, this card has already cooled off a little bit, basically close to $100 off of that release peak, right? Now, here's the part that is kind of a little bit crazy. So if this is the gold mega hyper rare, the 122. So normally the gold is the expensive, right? But just if we pull up the chart real quick, this one is sitting at around $400. even down to the high 300s on recent sales. So the illustrated version is actually selling for more than the gold, right? That doesn't happen very often. And then you have the dark horse, right? So Cinchino EX, the special illustration rare, that one popped over $100 on day one, and now it is hanging at around the $90 range. So basically, I am not going to sit here and just pretend that one price is the forever price, right? You can pretty much see it here on the charts. These cards are moving up and down, but that is the point, right? Release week prices are just emotional. People are rushing out to get the product. There's not that much out there. And that's why we see these high prices. So when a set first comes out, everybody wants to know the chase card, right? Everybody wants to pull it. Everybody wants to be early and just have their hands on it. And if enough people are basically opening packs on day one, those first few sales can get pretty crazy. So if you wait a little bit, maybe a few days, more copies start hitting the market, right? More people list theirs online. Most sellers basically start competing. And then the cards start finding a more realistic level, right? It's still high, but that doesn't mean that the Greninja is dead, right? It doesn't mean that Chaos Rising is bad. It just means that you basically have to be careful with release week hype. So my take on this is just pretty simple, guys. If you want to open seal product, try to get it at retail. I mean, it's going to be hard, or maybe just wait a little bit, right? And get what you want. So if you are chasing one specific card, really think about whether opening packs is going to be the way to get it for you guys. Because if a card is sitting at 400 or 500, that sounds pretty crazy. But if it's the right card for you, then I would say just get it, right? If it's a long-term hold for you, if it's for your collection, I would say get it. Because if the pull rate is basically brutal, if it's a hard to get card and sealed product is expensive at the same time, chasing it through packs can get even crazier, especially at these prices, guys. That is where collectors get trapped, right? You miss the retail drop, you've basically just fallen behind, and you see that everybody is pulling the card online. And then you either overpay for sealed or you just start chasing a single through packs, right? And before you know it, the hobby just starts feeling less like collecting and just more like trying to catch a train that's already leaving. So when I look at the 10 billion extra cards number, my reaction is not, everything is fixed. My reaction is just Pokemon is printing more, but the demand is even crazier. And until distribution catches up, until new product capacity really just hits, and until the hype pulls off a little bit, collectors are probably still going to feel this pressure, right? Pokemon can be printing at maximum capacity, and Sam's Club can still be a disaster, guys. Chaos Rising, the singles can start cooling down, and still product can still be annoying to find. Both things can be true. That is the market that we are in right now. So for me, the lesson is just don't panic, right? It is patience. If I miss a drop, then I miss that drop. If I want a single, then I'm just going to watch the chart before I jump in. And if Pokemon really is printing more, then eventually some of this product should just work its way through the market. Maybe not as fast as we want it to, but eventually it will, guys. So now, I just want to ask you guys, did you get anything from that Sam's Club Prismatic Evolutions drop? Or did the site also mess up for you guys? And with Chaos Rising, are you trying to pull that Mega Greninja, or are you waiting for singles to settle down? Drop a comment and tell me what you guys are doing, because I think this is one of the most interesting collector moments that Pokemon has had in a while. I'm going to link the sources down below if you guys want to have a read, and if you guys want more Pokemon market talk, collector news, and PoketLore videos, make sure that you guys subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one.